Oliver says, what are your thoughts on having multiple credit cards for credit building? You have only one credit card. I like credit cards for credit building. They're actually a great way of building your credit. If you're young, how old are you, Oliver? One of the things I talk about in one of my videos, building credit for teens or something like that. It was an old one I did. Something you can do to help build your credit quickly is to, I forget the term, you're basically tethering off of somebody else's credit experience. And it's typically a family member, somebody who's had a credit card for a long time, one that they've always made regular payments on, they've never had late payments. If they just add you as an additional user, they don't even have to give you the card or give you access to the card. But if they add you to it, it can immediately boost your credit score because you get that whole history of the card. 28 years old, credit score upper 780s. Oh, you're doing just fine then. Okay. Are you trying to get up to the 800s? Definitely check out my video on maximizing your credit score. It basically goes over every detail of what makes your credit score, how much it affects it, and if you want to get up into the 800s, you should be able to get the ideas from that on how to get there. But definitely managing how much outstanding credit you have compared to your credit balance, that's probably the biggest factor, especially when it comes to credit cards. But if you want to, I would definitely get more credit cards because they make such a huge impact in demonstrating to creditors how well you utilize credit. And you don't have to use them. You don't need to pay anybody interest, okay? You do need to use them, otherwise they'll get closed. But how you use them is everybody has regular expenses that we have throughout the month, okay? Just put one of those expenses on one credit card and have it set to automatically pay off each month. That will give you a payment and it'll get usage every single month. You're going to build up that credit history on multiple cards without paying interest. Preferably you're using a rewards card, so you're going to end up, it's essentially like giving yourself a discount on all of your payments. So I use a credit card to pay my utility bills. I use a credit card to pay my car insurance. That one's a tricky one. If you just try to go use a credit card to pay your car insurance, like I use Progressive, and they want to charge you extra. They want to charge you like 5% to use the card. Or it might be a fee like $7 or $9, but it ends up being equal to 5% or so. That's way too much. You're not going to get that much in a discount. But I figured out a way to get around that so that I can still use my card. And what I do is I set it up on auto pay out of my bank, and then each month when it rolls around and it's time for me to pay my bill, before it auto withdraws from my bank account, I get on and I pay by credit card, and they let me do that for free. They don't charge me that fee. So I get to utilize a credit card. I get to extend the interest-free use of that money, and I get rewards when I do it. So little hacks like that you can figure out on your own. But car insurance, utilities, I use it for food. Use a credit card for all of your food expenses throughout the month. The main thing is if you do start to use credit cards for all this stuff, don't overspend just because you're using a card. That's one of the hardest things to do because you may offset any savings that you recognize because you just want to start spending willy-nilly. So that definitely something to keep in mind, but that's what I would do. So, okay, Wayne, depends on the age of credit. Just getting a bunch of cards can backfire with weak credit. Yeah, it can, but it only lasts for a very short period of time. So the inquiries on your credit last for 2 years, and then they're off. So if you get a bunch of cards, let's see. At one point, I had 8 inquiries on my credit report. Didn't ding my score all that much. Okay, so some people are sitting on there with 0, and they worry about getting 1 or 2. Don't even worry about it. You can get a bunch. It takes quite a bit to actually hurt your score, and they're going to fall off. You're better off getting the card, start establishing that credit. But, and this goes to Wayne's point, which is something to look out for, is your overall age of your credit does make a difference. And so the more cards you get, it's going to reduce that age. Now it makes more difference with some of the Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. It makes more of a difference with some of those than the others, the age of the credit. Experian, I think it's less of an issue. Like they don't necessarily score off of your average age. They may just go off of the oldest one, if I recall correctly. So I tend to get a higher score from Experian than I do from some of the other ones because of that. Or maybe it's Equifax. I don't remember which one. But one of those gives me a higher score simply because I had a whole bunch of cards that I opened up a couple of years ago, which shortened my credit age, basically. So definitely something to look out for. This was a question asked and answered during one of our Wealthcare Wednesdays live streams. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or join us on one of our Wealthcare Wednesday live streams where you can ask the question and we'll answer it on the air live. I hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time. Now go maximize your cash flow.